Your neighbor just bought a new Mercedes. Your coworker keeps talking about their renovation. Your friend posted another vacation to Europe, the third one this year. You scroll through their photos and feel that familiar knot in your stomach. You're working just as hard, maybe harder. So why does it feel like everyone is getting ahead except you? Here's what no one tells you. That neighbor with the Mercedes, 87% of people earning under $100,000 a year who drive luxury cars don't actually have the income to justify them. They're financing a lifestyle they can't afford to impress people they barely know. Your coworker with the renovation, there's a good chance they're pulling from their retirement accounts or putting it on credit to fund the project. And your friend with the European vacations, Americans now carry over $1.2 trillion in credit card debt, with the average card charging nearly 24% interest. Behind a lot of those Instagram photos is a mountain of financial stress that never makes it into the caption. But there's another kind of person out there, someone you'd never suspect was wealthy. They drive a Honda Accord, they live in a modest neighborhood, they wear the same brands as everyone else, shop at the same stores, eat at the same restaurants. Their finances don't perform for anyone, they just work. These people have figured something out that most never will. The less you look like you have money, the more money you actually get to keep. This is the philosophy of stealth wealth. And today, I'm going to show you 14 ways to build a fortune that stays invisible. The first move is to understand that looking rich costs you the chance to actually be rich. A study by Experian Automotive found that 61% of people earning over $250,000 a year don't drive luxury cars at all. They're buying Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords, the top 3 car brands driven by millionaires. Toyota at number 1, Honda at number 2, Ford at number 3. Jeff Bezos was photographed driving a Honda Accord. Mark Zuckerberg drives an Acura. Google founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page drove Toyota Priuses. These billionaires understood something profound. Cars depreciate, but the money you don't spend on a depreciating asset can be invested in assets that appreciate. A $50,000 luxury car depreciates roughly 30 to 40% in the first 3 years. That same $50,000 invested in the S&P 500 historically grows at about 10% annually. In 10 years, the car is worth almost nothing, while the investment has more than doubled. In 20 years, that investment has grown to over $330,000. The luxury car buyer traded $350,000 for a decade of looking impressive in parking lots. The second move is living in a house below your means. Research on millionaires consistently shows they don't cluster in the most expensive neighborhoods. The original Millionaire Next Door study found the average millionaire lived in a home valued around $320,000, which adjusted for inflation is about $650,000 today. Not a mansion, not an estate. A nice but unremarkable home in a decent neighborhood, indistinguishable from their neighbors who might earn half as much. When your home doesn't signal wealth, you don't attract unwanted attention from salespeople, from fundraisers who view you as a mark, from relatives who suddenly need loans, or from criminals who see an easy target. Your mortgage payment stays manageable, even if your income fluctuates. You're not house poor, sacrificing your quality of life to maintain an image. And here's something most people never consider. Property taxes on a modest home versus a luxury home can differ by $10,000 or $20,000 annually over 30 years. That's $300,000 to $600,000 saved, money that can be invested instead of sent to your local government for the privilege of living in a fancier zip code. The third move is maximizing what I call invisible money containers. In 2026, the IRS raised the 401k contribution limit to $24,500. If you're 50 or older, you can add another $8,000 in catch-up contributions for a total of $32,500. If you're between 60 and 63, there's a super catch-up that allows up to $11,250 extra, bringing your total potential contribution to $35,750. IRA contribution limits rose to $7,500, with an additional $1,100 for those 50 and older. Health savings accounts, if you have a high-deductible health plan, allow $4,150 for individuals and $8,300 for families, with an extra $1,000 if you're over 55. Nobody sees this money. It doesn't upgrade your lifestyle in visible ways, but it's working for you silently, compounding year after year. A 25-year-old contributing $500 a month to a 401k averaging 7% returns will have over $1.2 million by 65. A 35-year-old doing the same thing ends up with roughly $580,000. Starting at 45, about $270,000. The earlier you fund these invisible containers, the more powerful the compounding effect becomes.
And here's the tax magic. Every dollar you contribute to a traditional 401k or IRA reduces your taxable income by that same dollar. If you're in the 24% tax bracket and contribute $20,000, you've just saved $4,800 in taxes this year, while simultaneously building wealth no one can see. The fourth move is to stop performing your purchases. Social media has created what researchers now call money dysmorphia, a condition where people feel financially insecure despite being objectively stable, all because they're comparing themselves to curated highlights from other people's lives. A recent study found 95% of Americans experiencing money dysmorphia are negatively impacted financially because it leads to overspending, increased debt, and reduced savings. 43% of Gen Z and 41% of millennials report being affected by this phenomenon. Here's the irony. 82% of those experiencing money dysmorphia said they feel behind on their finances, but 37% of them actually had over $10,000 in savings, with 23% having more than $30,000. They were doing fine, but social media convinced them otherwise. The algorithm doesn't show you the credit card statements behind the vacation photos. It doesn't show the anxiety at 3 a.m. when someone wonders how they'll make their car payment. It only shows the highlight reel, and your brain interprets that highlight reel as someone else's normal life. The stealth wealth approach means your purchases exist for your life, not for your audience. When you buy something nice, you don't photograph it, you don't mention it, you just enjoy it privately. The satisfaction comes from the thing itself, not from other people knowing you have it. The fifth move is tracking your net worth instead of your income. People obsess over salary, but salary is what flows through your hands. Net worth is what stays in your grip. A doctor earning $400,000 a year who spends $400,000 a year has zero wealth. A teacher earning $60,000 who lives on $45,000 and invests $15,000 annually will be a millionaire within 30 years. According to the Federal Reserve, the median American net worth is around $193,000. The average is over $1 million, but that's skewed dramatically by the wealthy. The median tells you where most people actually land. According to Empower's data from January 2026, the median net worth for Americans in their 20s is just $6,600. In their 30s, it rises to about $23,000. 40s see it jump to around $67,000, and by the 50s, it reaches roughly $260,000. If you're tracking your net worth monthly, watching it grow, adjusting your behavior to increase it, you're playing a game most people don't even know exists. They're focused on income, while you're focused on accumulation. Create a simple spreadsheet. List every asset, checking accounts, savings accounts, retirement accounts, investment accounts, home equity, vehicle values. Then list every liability, mortgage balance, car loans, student loans, credit card balances. Subtract liabilities from assets. That number is your net worth. Update it monthly. Watch the trend. That single practice will change your financial behavior more than any budgeting app ever could. The sixth move is avoiding what I call wealth signals. These are the small purchases that seem reasonable in isolation, but collectively broadcast financial status. The designer logo visible on your belt, the brand name handbag, the luxury watch that catches light across the conference room table, the car keys with the prestige emblem sitting on the restaurant table. Each item serves as a beacon, and that beacon attracts cost. Studies on social dynamics show people unconsciously adjust their expectations based on perceived wealth. The more wealthy you appear, the more others expect you to pay for dinners, buy the premium gifts, donate the larger amounts, provide the bigger tips. A friend who looks wealthy is a friend who gets asked for loans. A relative who looks wealthy is a relative expected to fund things. A colleague who looks wealthy is a colleague assumed to be fine with covering expenses that should be split. This isn't about being cheap. It's about preserving your resources for what actually matters to you, rather than leaking money through 1,000 social obligations that arise from the image you've projected. The irony is that truly wealthy people often avoid these signals, precisely because they understand the hidden costs. Meanwhile, people with far less money buy the signals, hoping to borrow the status, and end up paying twice, once for the item and again through the elevated expectations that follow. The seventh move is automating before you see the money. The problem with budgeting manually is that it requires you to choose discipline every single paycheck. Willpower is a depleting resource. By the end of a long day, after dozens of decisions about work and family and logistics, the last thing anyone wants to do is make another difficult choice about money. Automated investing removes the choice entirely. Set your 401k contributions to come out before you receive your paycheck. Have your bank automatically transfer money to a Roth IRA or brokerage account on payday.
Set up automatic payments to your emergency fund until it reaches your target. These systems mean the money that builds your wealth never hits your checking account in the first place. You can't spend what you never see. This creates what behavioral economists call a commitment device, a mechanism that locks you into positive behavior without requiring ongoing willpower. Research consistently shows people who automate their savings accumulate significantly more wealth than those who try to save through conscious decision-making each month. The automation also makes your wealth invisible in another way. You stop thinking about it. You don't check it obsessively. You don't feel the loss each month because you never experience the money as yours to spend. It just quietly accumulates in the background while you live your life. The eighth move is maintaining a buffer that makes your financial choices invisible. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, which means every purchase decision is made under some level of financial stress. When money is tight, people start making desperate choices that become visible to others. They decline invitations. They hesitate at dinners. They ask to split things they'd normally cover. They suggest cheaper alternatives with a tone that reveals constraint rather than preference. These small moments signal financial struggle to the people around you. Having a 3 to 6 month emergency fund does more than protect you from unemployment or unexpected expenses. It gives you the psychological freedom to make choices without signaling constraint. You can split the check or cover it without calculation. You can say yes or no based on preference rather than panic. You can take time to find the right job rather than accepting the first offer out of desperation. Nobody ever detects the tightness in your finances because there isn't any. The recommended target is 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, not income. Calculate your monthly necessities: housing, utilities, food, insurance, minimum debt payments. Multiply by at least 3. That's your starting target. Build it gradually through automation, and once it's funded, leave it alone except for genuine emergencies. The ninth move is being boring with your investments. Stealth wealth isn't built through day trading or cryptocurrency speculation or options gambling. Those activities produce exciting stories, dramatic wins, and equally dramatic losses that create interesting conversation at parties. They also statistically underperform simple, boring strategies executed consistently over decades. The S&P 500 has averaged approximately 10.4% annually over the past century. If you missed just the 10 best days over a 15-year period, your returns dropped to roughly 3%. Missed the 30 best days and you went negative. The way to capture those best days isn't through active trading. It's through staying invested continuously, even when the market feels terrifying. A boring portfolio of low-cost index funds from companies like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, with expense ratios under 0.1%, builds wealth without drama, without stories, without anyone knowing what you own or how much. You don't have stock tips to share at dinner. You don't have trading wins to brag about. You just have a steadily growing portfolio that compounds silently while everyone else chases the next hot investment and wonders why they're not getting ahead. The 10th move is understanding the real cost of expensive social circles. Your social environment shapes your spending more than your income does. If your friends golf at private clubs, vacation internationally multiple times a year, drive luxury cars, and dine at restaurants where entrees cost $50, maintaining those relationships will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. This happens through direct spending to keep up, through lifestyle creep as your standards adjust to match your circle, and through opportunity cost as money that could be invested flows instead into consumption you wouldn't have chosen independently. This doesn't mean abandoning friends you care about. It means being intentional about which activities you participate in and which social norms you adopt. True friends don't require financial performance. They adapt. They meet you at the less expensive restaurant. They understand when you opt out of the expensive trip. They value your company more than your wallet. If someone's friendship requires you to spend beyond your means to maintain it, that's not friendship. It's a subscription service with a very high monthly fee. The 11th move is never discussing your finances directly. Stealth wealth requires informational discipline. When someone asks what you earn, you deflect gracefully. Something like enough to pay the bills, not enough to stop working, ends the conversation without lying or revealing anything useful. When colleagues discuss their salaries, you listen without contributing. When family members probe about your investments or your net worth or how much you paid for something, you speak in generalities or redirect the conversation entirely. This isn't deception, it's privacy. Financial privacy is no different from any other form of privacy. You have the right to it, and protecting it serves your interests. Once people know your financial situation, their behavior toward you changes permanently. If they learn you have money, expectations inflate. If they learn you're struggling, respect diminishes. Either outcome puts you at a disadvantage. Successful stealth wealth practitioners maintain complete opacity about their financial specifics, while remaining open and warm in every other dimension of their relationships. The goal isn't to be secretive or cold. It's simply to keep financial information in the category where it belongs, private. The 12th move is investing in health as your highest return asset. Medical expenses are the leading cause of bankruptcy in America. Chronic health conditions drain wealth through direct costs, lost productivity, and reduced earning capacity. A person who maintains their health through their 60s and 70s preserves decades of potential investment growth that the unhealthy person must liquidate to cover care. Consider the math. If poor health forces you to retire at 60 instead of 67,
You've lost 7 years of peak earning and investing, while simultaneously adding 7 years to your retirement expenses. The financial impact can easily reach 7 figures. Beyond the financial calculus, health determines whether wealth translates into actual enjoyment. There's no point in a large portfolio if you're too sick to travel, too tired to pursue interests, too limited to experience what your money could provide. Exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress management aren't separate from your financial strategy. They're central to it. And unlike many financial expenses, investing in health is almost completely invisible. Nobody knows you went to the gym at 6 in the morning. Nobody sees the vegetables you ate for dinner. The returns compound silently, both in your portfolio and in your quality of life. The 13th move is building income streams that don't require public visibility. The entrepreneur who launches a flashy consumer brand becomes a public figure. Their wealth is estimated in articles, discussed in conversations, tracked by people who feel entitled to opinions about how it's spent. The entrepreneur who starts an unsexy T2B service company, provides specialized consulting, builds cash-flowing rental properties, or invests as a silent partner in established businesses, accumulates wealth without anyone knowing the source or the scale. The Wall Street Journal profiled what they called the stealthy wealthy, and the largest source of income for the top 1% isn't investment banking or tech startups. It's ownership of medium-sized regional businesses, like auto dealerships, beverage distributors, grocery stores, dental practices, and law firms. Boring, unglamorous, extremely lucrative, almost entirely invisible to the general public. Research suggests self-employed people make up less than 20% of American workers, but account for nearly 2/3 of millionaires. And for centibillionaires, entrepreneurship rates climb even higher, reaching 60%. The difference is that most of these businesses aren't the ones you've heard of. They're local, they're practical, and they generate wealth far from any spotlight. The 14th and final move is recognizing that stealth wealth is ultimately about freedom. When no one knows what you have, you operate without the weight of expectations. You're not obligated to fund family requests simply because you can afford to. You're not pressured to maintain a lifestyle that exhausts you. You're not a target for scams, schemes, or social engineering from people who've identified you as someone with resources worth pursuing. You're not resented by colleagues who learn you make more than them. You're not judged by friends who wonder why you're still driving that old car when you could obviously afford better. You have the freedom to be generous when you choose, rather than when you're expected. You have the freedom to live modestly because you want to, not because you have to. You have the freedom to work on projects that interest you, rather than projects that maintain an image. You can walk away from situations that don't serve you because you don't need anyone else's money or approval. This is what real financial independence looks like. Not the yacht and the mansion and the spotlight, but the quiet power to design your life on your own terms without anyone else's expectations distorting your choices. The United States now has nearly 25 million millionaires. 80% of them are first-generation wealthy, meaning they didn't inherit their money, they accumulated it themselves. The average millionaire today is around 50 years old. Most live in homes that wouldn't look out of place in a middle-class neighborhood. They drive Toyotas and Hondas and Fords. They wear unremarkable clothes. They blend in completely with people who have a fraction of their net worth. They figured out that the expensive part of being wealthy isn't accumulating money, it's looking wealthy, and they opted out. In 2025 and beyond, we're living in an age of unprecedented financial performance. Social media algorithms reward displays of consumption. Influencer culture normalizes spending that would have seemed absurd a generation ago. The pressure to signal success through purchases has never been higher. And yet, the fundamentals haven't changed at all. Wealth is still built the same way it always has been. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference consistently, be patient, and let compounding do the work that no salary can match. If you want to build real wealth, stop playing the game everyone else is playing. Stop broadcasting your wins. Stop performing your lifestyle. Stop leaking money to maintain an image that serves no one but the people profiting from your insecurity. Put your money into invisible containers. Automate your accumulation. Stay boring with your investments. Guard your financial privacy like you'd guard any other private information. A decade from now, while everyone around you is still performing their consumption for social media, still financing lifestyles they can't afford, still trading their actual security for the appearance of success, you'll be sitting quietly on a fortune no one suspects. And that's the best position of all. The person who could do anything, buy anything, go anywhere, but doesn't need to prove it to anyone. That's not sacrifice. That's freedom.
Stop letting bad debt and lifestyle creep steal your paycheck and start building real wealth with the power of compound interest. Welcome to Ariana Invest.